So now we're going to actually create some PubSub resources. So I'm going to navigate to a new window and we're going to go to Cloud PubSub, which is basically a message queue. It's a proprietary service, so it's not built on open source. It's like Google's message queue. And the reason we're going to be creating PubSub resources is because when we upload a file to our cloud storage bucket, which we're going to create in the next lesson, we want our message queue to receive a notification and then send that notification to our Cloud Run service that we just created. Now, what exactly are the benefits of using PubSub in this case? Well, just like most message queues, we can directly push that notification to our Cloud Run service via a post request. So it's not like our Cloud Run service is going to need to be like reading from the bucket and checking, oh, is there a new file uploaded? We don't need to do any polling. And another reason is that PubSub has a durability layer, meaning if we send a message to PubSub and then PubSub tries to send a message to Cloud Run, but for some reason, maybe Cloud Run isn't available, it's crashed, or maybe all of the resources are taken up, like it's already processing a bunch of videos and we don't have the bandwidth or the resources to process the video at that time. Well, the good thing is PubSub will save that message and retry it, basically trying to redeliver that message in the future. And also, PubSub is a managed service, so we don't have to worry about scaling it at all. PubSub is considered one of the most well-liked Google Cloud services. Not many people actually complain about this one. So we're going to do two things. One, we're going to create a topic. A topic is basically what receives messages. This topic is going to receive a message every time we upload a file to the raw videos bucket. You could do this via the CLI, but I'm going to do it via the UI because it's pretty easy. All we really have to put in here is the topic name. So I'm going to call this video uploads topic, and I'm just going to keep all the defaults. And for adding a default subscription, I'm actually going to say no, because we're going to create our subscription ourselves and we're going to configure it ourselves as well. So I'm just going to create this topic and it's been created. I'm going to hide the info panel over here, and there's not much to really show within this UI, and we're not really going to be looking at it too much. But we are going to create a subscription for this topic. We can do that here, or you can do that in the subscriptions UI, but I'm just going to do it here because I think it'll autofill some of this. Yeah, it looks like it autofilled the topic. So a subscription is a resource that's created for a topic. So you might be wondering, why do we need topics and subscriptions? Well, that's kind of another benefit of PubSub. In our case, we're not going to be using it, but basically for one topic, you can have multiple subscriptions. So if for some reason you wanted to send the same message to multiple services, like in our case, we're sending it to Cloud Run, but maybe you also want to send that message to a database or a data warehouse like BigQuery so it can be saved there as well. That's called fan out, and we're not going to be taking advantage of that in this case. We're just going to have a single subscription for that single topic, but if we wanted to, we could create multiple subscriptions for a single topic. So in my case, I'm going to call this video uploads subscription. And if I wanted to be more explicit, maybe I could even say that this is the subscription for Cloud Run, because that's exactly what this is going to be used for. This subscription is going to be the one that sends messages to our Cloud Run service. Now we scroll down to delivery type, and it's important that you make this a push delivery type, because polling means that our Cloud Run service would have to be the one that initiates requests to the subscription, but that's not what we want. We want the subscription to push directly to the Cloud Run service, and you can see we have to supply the endpoint URL. So this is going to be important. I actually messed it up when I was working on this course. So first, you're going to want to copy this URL. This is the root URL for this entire service that's running. So let's copy that and paste it here. But remember, this is asking for the endpoint URL. And if we quickly go back to our code, you can see that we defined that post endpoint with this path. So make sure you copy the rest of the path as well. So here, I'm gonna paste that. Great. And you can see we can specify the message retention. I'm gonna leave it as the default, but basically what this means is that for at least 7 days, PubSub is gonna try to deliver the message to our Cloud Run service. Now, we probably don't need it to be set to 7 days. Probably like 1 day or even less than that would be sufficient, but this isn't like super important. And in our case, we do not want the subscription to expire if there are not messages sent to it, but in case you forget to like delete the subscription after you're done creating the course, you might want to leave this checked, and I will, because I'm going to be cleaning up all these resources after I'm done with this project. So I'm going to leave that selected. You might want to set it to never expire. And the acknowledgement deadline, this is pretty important as well. This is kind of the frequency period. Basically, this subscription is going to make a request to our Cloud Run service. And if for some reason we do not receive like an okay response from the Cloud Run service, then we're going to retry after 10 seconds in this case. Now, that's a pretty short frequency, so I'm actually going to set it to the maximum value, which is 600 seconds or 10 minutes. So basically, it's going to make a request to Cloud Run. If it doesn't work, we're going to retry after 10 minutes. And if it still doesn't work, we're going to retry after 10 more minutes. And we're going to keep doing that for 7 days, which is, like I said, probably more than enough. And then scrolling down, I don't think we need to worry about any of these other options. So I'm going to go ahead and create the subscription. And it looks like we successfully created it. Now, we won't go super in depth into this UI either, but basically you can see that there are some metrics that we can take a look at. There are some details. This is probably a bit more important where you can kind of confirm that this is the endpoint that this subscription is going to be pushing to. And if you weren't able to set this the first time, I'm pretty sure you can edit it. So yeah, you can always change the endpoint. A subscription can only have a single endpoint. So if we wanted to push to other endpoints, we'd have to create more subscriptions. I hope you're starting to kind of get the idea, but I will say that this stuff is not trivial. Like if you're new to message queues, this is not going to be something that you immediately understand, but I would recommend kind of playing around with it. And what we're kind of covering today is definitely a very, very good start. So that's pretty much it for what we're going to be doing within PubSub. I know you probably want to test it out to see if it actually works, but we're going to need a cloud storage bucket, which we're going to create in the next lesson. So I'll see you then.